Good evening and welcome back to the Leader's Edge, where our goal is to help you succeed and thrive. Now, how do we bring out the best of people, especially in this pandemic where peak performance is needed more than ever? Joining us tonight is a special guest. His name is Ernesto Espinosa, Ernie for short, and he will share with us the topics of coaching and mentoring. Now, he has been retired for 3 years now, but don't let that fool you. He has not been exactly sitting on his rocking chair somewhere just last month. That's April 2021, as of this recording. He has been given the rank of DPM, Diplomate in People Management. That's the highest award given to an HR practitioner by the People Management Association of the Philippines, PMAP. Before that, in 2003, PMAP has given him the award of People Manager of the Year. Now, Ernie has been in the HR field since the 1970s. And since then, he has risen through the ranks up to senior levels in organizations such as Fujitsu, Philippine Veterans Bank, and the Perpetual Group of Companies. Along the way, he has served as president of PMAP, followed by, get this, the Asia Pacific Federation of Human Resources Management. Then to cap it all, president of the World Federation of People Management Associations. Wow. I don't know about you, but I'm dying to hear what he has to say. So join me in welcoming to the virtual stage, Mr. Ernie Espinosa. Ernie, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Nelson. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate it.
Now, let's start a bit with your background. What set you in your love affair with HR?
Well, I graduated in accounting, but I suddenly felt bored. That's why I shifted to HR. One time when I was applying for an accountant's job, I was interviewed instead as a recruitment consultant by nothing else but John Clemens, which is a headhunter. So after that, I was hired as a consultant in recruitment or executive selection services. And that started it all.
And I would say that is accounting's loss, but HR's gain. And I think we gain a lot given your wealth of experience. So let's shift a bit. You know, one of the things I appreciate about HR is that I learned it's not all admin. You know, I thought of HR as payroll, recruitment, but now I'm beginning to appreciate their strategic value, especially when it comes to helping people be better, more productive. And that leads us to the topic of coaching and mentoring. And I take it, Ernie, this is one of your passions.
Yes.
And then tell us, Ernie, this is something which I think is a common confusion. They think that coaching and mentoring are the same. So is there a difference between coaching and mentoring?
Well, actually what happens is in both coaching and mentoring, it's both one-on-one relationship. So even if I am a coach or a mentor, I have a one-on-one relationship with a coachee or mentee. But in the case of the mentoring, I have more flexibility to talk about anything: family relationship, personal relationship, career, job. But in coaching, it's merely job. So it's quite limited and it's quite short term. The moment you are able to solve that job performance problem, then probably your coaching is over. But in mentoring, it can be lifelong.
Mm-hmm. And it can encompass in other areas of the mentee. Who sets the
Yes.
agenda? Who sets the agenda? Is it both? I would think that it's like what do you want to talk about? And it's like the mentee would probably set the tone and the mentor may want to add some more. How does the contract?
Especially when you talk about the goal, you tend to find out from the coachee what he or she wants to talk about. So it's initiated by the coachee.
Mm-hmm.
But in mentoring, it's normally initiated by the mentor.
All right. So fundamental difference is there. And then one of the key principles, there's the one-on-one. Depends also on who sets the tone. Are there other foundational principles? Let's say I would suspect there's the element of trust, anything like that. What would be, let's say, prior relationship if needed? What do you think of that, Ernie?
I suppose that in the case of mentoring, the relationship is deeper. But
Ah,
in the case of coaching, since it's just related with the job, then I think sometimes it can even be more impersonal. And let me add another fourth action because I talk about coaching, mentoring, counseling, probably training. Training is transferring knowledge.
mm-hmm.
So when you talk about coaching, mentoring, counseling, and training, be prepared to talk about all those things.
I like that. So it has to be a holistic approach. It's not. It's like a toolbox that it's not everything being a hammer and everything you see is a nail. So I like that. So I'm glad to see we have a full arsenal and there are four of them. And now let's go back to this particular thing. What would be the process, the main or basic process when it comes to coaching and mentoring? Or is it? Well, I would think that the way to converse and the way to ask questions is the same. So is there a sort of a main process for coaching and mentoring?
Well, in the case of coaching, there is a model. They call it grow model. It's goal. So what is the purpose of your talking with me? And then you have reality. What is your actual situation now? And then you have options. What are your alternatives? And W, which is way forward. What are you going to do about it? But in mentoring, it's quite flexible. No, you can
Ah,
talk about practically everything. And let me add to training. No, because in training, I've attended so many Zoom meetings. I only talk about two people. No, Jesus Christ, because Jesus is very fond of talking about parables in order to for his audience to get captivated. Whenever he tells a story, he talks about parables. And the other one is my model is Confucius. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember, and I do and I understand. So it is in doing that you are able to find out what to do with your job.
all right. Now, I understand about the grow model. In fact, I heard it before. I love it. I love it. Now, mentoring, you said, is a bit more free flowing. I just wonder, how do you prevent the mentoring from being all over the place? I would imagine the mentor mentee has a certain goal as well, wherein towards the end of this mentoring, the mentee should be like this, like that. So, what's the balance that it can be anything under the sun, and yet it should be also like some output is expected?
Well, it depends upon the mentor. Just like the one presiding over the meeting. If you are a good mentor, you know how to control the conversation. Hindi yung pwede yung mentee na who is or her all over the place. It's always the mentor who is controlling the situation. Pag,
You know?
pag medyo out of control yung mentee, sasabihin mo, excuse me, you're out of order.
You know, I just realized a question by young people. We all know that young people are hungry for mentors. So if you're a young person, you want to become a mentee, how does that person look for a mentor?
Well, by reading, no, by participating, for instance, in HR groups or even being active in Facebook or Viber, you see the good ones. Eh. Like I have a friend who was saying, why is it that so many people post, nalilito tuloy ako. You know you're already an adult. You should know who are the good ones. Consistently, they should be able to find out who are the more intelligent people.
All right. So if let's say there's a young man who wants to be mentored and he saw from let's say LinkedIn, his office, he saw somebody he admires, he says, I want this guy to mentor me. So what do you recommend that guy? How does he approach that guy, that mentor? Can you be my mentor? Something like that. What do you recommend?
Well, you start casually, by first trying to converse with that person, the potential mentor, and then in the process, you exchange information about yourselves by even suggesting that, why don't you read my profile? And then eventually you bring up the idea, not on the first meeting, but eventually after 3 or 4 meetings, like saying that, I've noticed that you have good ideas. Is it possible that you can become my mentor one of these days? Something like that. The one that irritates me is on the first meeting, the person already volunteers, no, or suggests, can you be my mentor? Asiwa ako dyan. I don't like that approach. Kumbaga sa nanliligaw ka, sinasabihan mo na kaagad yung babae na mahal kita, pero you cannot do that, no? Magpasakali ka muna.
You know, as you explained that, I was already thinking of dating. So it's like you don't expect the girl to say yes on the first date. You have to go to first base, second base, third base. So I think I know what you mean. You have to first build the relationship, and maybe
Yes,
yeah, that's true. And let the mentor think that it's worth his time and effort to mentor you. I like that. So I like that tip. Yeah, I
exactly.
like that tip. Don't go first. Can you be my mentor? No. Okay. So let's chill. Let's get to know each other,
Chill
and then
muna.
yeah, okay.
You know,
Court the
you
guy
you
first.
get to know the other person first,
Yeah, court the
rather than
mentor first.
immediately conclude that, hey, will you be my mentor? That's pathetic.
Yeah, that's true. You sound desperate and clingy. Let's flip it for a while. Supposing I'm the one being approached to become somebody's mentor, I don't think I should say yes to everyone, right? So, what is your advice there? How can I be choosy to whom I'm going to mentor?
Well, in the same manner that the mentee chooses his or her mentor, the mentor should also be selective.
Yeah,
If I see that you don't have the potentials, I will not agree being your mentor. But of course, I will tell you in a nice way.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
will only accept those who potentially will be good mentees.
Yeah, I'll just sort of let you down easy, and maybe I'll recommend you to some other guy. But you're right. That's why
Yeah,
I agree.
something like that, no?
Yeah,
In other words, do not ever hurt their feelings.
that's true. And actually, we don't spread ourselves out too thin, and I appreciate that. I like
Yes,
this
yes,
process. I like this process. It's like a song and dance, and if the guy
yes.
has, if there's a good combination, I think the mentoring and even the coaching can work wonders. So let's talk about the process. Is there such a process like step one, step two for coaching? We see the overall principle is one-on-one, trust relationship, get to know each other. What about the steps for coaching? I know there's grow. What about for mentoring? Is there a step-by-step project? As you said, it's sort of free flowing, but is there like a step one, step two, step three? What will be the common pitfalls? Okay, because so many people like to be coached, some people like to be coaching and mentored and mentoring, but there may be some danger somewhere. What are the common pitfalls, let's say, in coaching, the do's and don'ts?
Well, first, time.
Hmm.
Time is very important. Sometimes mentor and mentee or coach and coachee commit to a specific time they will meet. But that specific time, either of the four will beg off because of, let's say, other reasons. That cannot be allowed. When you commit, You commit to that time and schedule, you know.
Yeah.
And when you talk about the agenda or focus, you cannot digress on what you have talked about. You simply have to be talking about everything about the agenda. And of course, punctuality. Like when you say it's 10 a.m., you appear at 10 a.m. or before 10 a.m. The pitfall among many people right now is that they're always late.
Ah,
Whenever you ask them, asan ka na? Ang sagot, papunta na ako naliligo pa sa bahay.
yeah. And that shows actually disrespect of the guy who's helping you out, whether it's the coach or the mentor.
Oh
So I
yes,
guess, yeah, that's true.
you have to be respectful of each and everyone's time.
Yes. And going back to the courting stage, if the mentor or the coach says, we're just getting to each other, if I see that in you, that's a red flag. So probably we will not go through with the formal coaching or mentoring relationship. What about, let's say, is there something in the personality of the coach or mentor to watch out so that he will not make a common mistake? It will be the common mistake of a coach or a mentor.
Well, the ideal characteristic is of course patience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are coaches and mentees who normally digress.
Yeah.
So, hindi ka dapat mapikon. Ibalik mo sila sa discussion.
Yep.
Second, mindfulness. You have to be conscious and aware of what's happening. And of course, empathy. You have to put yourself on the side of the other person. Hindi pwede yung basta sinabi mo, yun ang masusunod.
Yeah. By the way, I just had a question. We know that mentoring can be long term, even lifelong, whereas coaching can be quite, let's say, structured. Is there a certain usual number of coaching before a problem is solved? For example, session one, you have the grow, then there's the way forward. Do you have a session two that says, okay, what happened to the way forward? And is there a third session? What's your experience like?
Well, there is no hard fast rule when it comes to time, no, or the time limit. On your first meeting, you have to talk. Let's say you're the coach and there is a coachee. You have to talk with the superior of the coachee, and then you agree on the timeline. In the same manner that when you have a mentee, you agree on what you expect. Let's say you ask the mentee, how long do you think this relationship should be? And then the mentee would say, it depends on you. And then the mentor say, to be my mentee for the next year or so. Things like those. There should be definitely a schedule. It's probably an imaginary line. It's probably not definite, but it's the basis of the relationship.
My question is, whether it's coaching or mentoring, it's one or the other. My question is this. If let's say I see a problem employee and he needs coaching, not mentoring, coaching. And usually we think that the coachee is voluntary, okay, to go to that coach. But if he resists, is the scenario like, well, there's nothing we can do? Is it like that? What do you do with a guy who resists being coached or resists being mentored?
Well, you have to evaluate first.
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody is resistant, then you cannot accept that person. It has to be a relationship. One person who is not cooperative cannot be an effective coachee or mentee.
Is this now where we go to the route of, let's say, performance improvement plan, and then if he doesn't perform, there's due process, and then he's bye-bye?
Yes, but at least two performance evaluation periods.
Right. That is true. Now, let
You
me,
know, the labor code is so strict.
yeah.
Kumbaga, yung timeline is too long. Gusto nila yung 1 year, ganon. Ayaw nila yung 6 months, 6 months. But the other HR professionals are wise, no? Pinapaigsi nila. But, and so they have to justify. But
That is
if
true.
you will ask the labor people, they would normally suggest at least 2 years. 1 year performance evaluation period, and then if he fails, another evaluation period for 1 year. Then after 2 years of failing, then you can already terminate the services of that employee.
Wow, that long. I know of a company that will only take, let's say, 3 months per performance appraisal, then they do 3 times, so that's 9 months total. So yeah, we're not that far. Yeah, we
Well,
try.
that's probably a U.S. company, because in a U.S. company, you can be terminated on day one.
Oh, because I work for an American company where they're so allergic to litigation. So yeah, they really have to cover their bases to make sure
Yes,
they're protected. Yeah, before you fire somebody. Yeah.
ibang-iba ang labor code natin sa states. Sa states, you can terminate on day one, and you can even demote.
Yeah. Okay.
Sa
That's
atin, against the law yan.
Yeah, that's where now, well, that's the reality we're in, which brings us back to the discussion. That's why I think one of the things we have to prove to, let's say, Dole, did we do everything we can to help this person? That's where, again, did we give him, let's say, coaching or counseling or training or mentoring? So let's go back to the topic we're in. We try to help that guy out, and I think we'll have a role play later. I heard this concept about reverse coaching, where it's a younger guy coaching a older guy. Is this a good trend? What do you think about this?
I would probably not be comfortable with that, no? Because I think that age matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only a case of intelligence, but also wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a person who is older has the experience, everything, to be more effective than a younger person. Kumbaga, the younger person is probably intelligent, but still wet behind the ears.
Yeah. Yeah. You can have a lot of knowledge, but not much wisdom. And, there's no other route but age and experience. And that's where we value the elder statesman of an organization.
He probably has the knowledge and intelligence, but he doesn't have the wisdom. Do you know the
Yeah.
difference between knowledge and wisdom?
So what is it?
Okay. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Okay? But wisdom is knowing that you do not put a tomato in your fruit salad.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll remember that next time I eat a tomato. Now, Ernie, I heard somewhere that the key of good coaching or mentoring is the art of asking questions. Is that so? Because I like to
Oh,
ask
yes,
related
definitely.
and so,
You ask questions that would probably provoke the guy to answer, rather than ask theoretical questions answerable only by yes or no. You ask situational questions or behavioral questions.
right. I love it because I think that you're about to say never have close-ended but open-ended questions. And I was about to ask,
Yes,
what would be the other ways to make powerful coaching or mentoring questions? Are there other secrets to ask such powerful questions?
I have no technique. It's just purely common sense.
And I think it's the empathy side, diba? As you go along, you sort of feel, maybe you look at the body language of the coach or mentee, and then you sort of take it from there, yeah?
Yeah, and because of your experience, you learn. You
That
do
is
away with things that you think no longer works,
That's
and
true.
then you use the better ones. So
Yeah.
you become a better coach and mentor.
And that's part of wisdom, knowing what works and what does not work. And if it doesn't work,
Oh
you
yes,
yeah, you throw it away and do something else. Yeah, that's true.
yes.
That's true. I love the discussion. Ernie, is there anything else before I propose a role play? Any other valuable piece of advice to our audience out there?
Well, I just want to say to everyone that in order for you to grow, you just keep on reading. You read and improve your communication skills and also comprehension.
Ernie, I like to continue to improve as a coach or mentor. And you once said about I should keep reading. Do you have any recommended books? Let's say a
I
thought
don't have
leader?
one. You know,
Yeah.
Nelson, this is my what I do know. I read practically everything that I can handle. Magazines, newspapers, coffee table books. I even do crossword puzzle every day to improve my vocabulary. And then eventually I use them whenever I post in Facebook. I used to copy sayings from Buddha
Mhm.
about several months ago. But now I'm writing my own post every day.
Yes, I saw those posts also. These are excellent one-liners and they're very
Yes,
well done.
pinag-iisipan talaga yan. Kaya na medyo naiinis ako pag kinokopya ng walang paalam.
Okay, I thought plagiarism is the best form of flattery. One thing, Ernie, what about, the other way to sharpen yourself is to have other people, enrich you. So what about a somebody who wants to become an excellent coach or mentor? He joins a group, let's say some coaching federation, a mastermind group. What about that aspect of personal
Well,
growth?
that will do. Like for example, in my case, I'm a member of PMAP,
Mhm.
People Management Association of the Philippines. But friends, you choose good friends. You are able to identify the smart ones. So you befriend them.
Yep.
And that's how you start. Whether
Yep.
they are foreigners, Filipinos, Bangladeshis, since I became world president, lahat yan mga kaibigan ko. At, uh, lalo na yung mga those who have less in life, many don't know that when I encountered them in Facebook, tinutulungan ko yan privately. Like there was a poor girl who was asking a question. Sabi niya, what do you do in case you want to send a second disciplinary action for, let's say, this problem? Yung iba, para binabash siya kagad. Parang nakakaawa naman kaya tinutulungan ko.
All right. Now, let's do something that can be of interest to the audience, something unique to this episode, a role play, which I asked about it before we have this recording. So I think you start the session. You're the coach, I'm the coachee. So I'm interested how do you open it? So take it away, Ernie. How do we begin?
Nelson, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to see you today. By the way, how's your mom?
My mom is doing well, and she suffered a nasty fall, but that was about 2 weeks ago. She's progressing well. She can walk and feed herself now. And so I'm hopeful that there's going to be full recovery.
Oh, that's good to hear. What are you currently
I'm
in?
involved with production, and I'm in a manufacturing business. And so that's where we make a certain product, and that's what I do.
Okay, let's cut to the chase. What brings you here in my office?
Well, I need help because I'm so disappointed in myself. I've been missing 2 quarters already of my production targets.
What what uh, what is your current situation aside from missing your targets? Are you being given a debut by your boss?
Not really, but I'm not exactly sure whether I can keep my job. I can sense, well, there are rumors that I may be replaced, and I certainly don't want that to happen. So I need help.
So, what are your options?
Well, my options maybe is that I can probably stick it out to do better job, which I have to figure it out. Or number three, maybe I have to, seek another job elsewhere.
Which do you think is the best option?
I think to stick, no, not really stick it out, but to improve myself because if I resign, I'm not even sure I can have a new job in front of me. So I think I should really, really try to improve my numbers.
Have you ever considered that seriously?
Yes, because of the need, I think I have to because I have a family to feed.
What are you doing in order to reach that goal?
Well, I try to, let's say I'm a supervisor, so that's where I'm responsible for those targets. I'm trying to see if there's something I can do to help my people and get them to cooperate more. Probably I need to study more about formal management, about Kaizen and all that. So how to be more productive. Maybe try to find some more scientific ways to improve processes. It's more like relationship and self-study.
Can you give me three concrete steps on what you intend to do moving forward?
Well, I've been looking through the internet about, say, how to the concept of Kaizen, where, for example, if I have a problem, then I have to think of simple solutions, how to solve the problem. Like, for example, in one of my KPIs, our production yield has gone down. So I had to go back to school, so to speak, study the process and find out what are the causes that defect is happening. And I'm trying my luck there because I have to study what is causing the defect and I go back to the machine to find out where the defect is coming from. And I think I'm getting there. It's just a matter of getting to be more consistent before the axe falls onto my head.
You know, you are a very intelligent guy. I don't have to coach you. So keep going. And I look forward to our meeting again 1 week from now in order for me to find out what has happened after you perform those three concrete steps.
Thank you, then. I appreciate that. So, is there anything I need to do in preparation for our meeting 1 week from now?
Nothing at all. Just focus on the three, and then we'll talk again. Let's say I'll give you two options. We can either meet on next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, at 8 or 9 a.m. You choose. You tell me, and I will be there.
Thank you. I'm choosing the Wednesday option. Thank you. I'll see you around there.
And what time would that be?
The time you mentioned, is it what? 10 a.m.?
8 or 9 a.m.?
Oh, 9 a.m. 9 a.m.
So
will do
it's
fine.
Wednesday, 9 a.m. I will see you again, Nelson.
I promise to be there.
Okay.
Thank you. So
Nice to chat with you, Nelson. Take care. Stay safe.
You too. Thank you. I appreciate your time and your advice.
My pleasure.
So guys, this is an example how to use the GROW model. I come here with a problem. And so Coach Ernie tell me what will be my goals are. And then I gave it to him, my goals. And then the reality, I'm not meeting my targets. And he's wise enough to give me, the free hand to explain what will be my options and then what will be the way forward. So this is a snapshot of how to do it. Thank you, Ernie. This is a good exercise. And actually, I look forward to doing more and more among my people. And so, Ernie, I love this particular episode. And there's a lot more, I'm sure, where you can give us more advice. And that's where now I like to give you final words before we end this episode. Ernie, any other thing okay, you have tons of experience. I think you have 40 years If you were to give just one piece of advice to HR practitioners, what would that be?
Well, I will always go by what Jack Welch is always saying. Do you know what he is always saying?
Okay,
Of
I
course,
give.
Jack Welch is the CEO of General Electric.
Yes. And what does he keep on saying?
Yeah. He keeps on saying, if the rate of change from within, and you're talking about either the company or yourself, is not as fast as the rate of change outside, then the end is near.
Oh, the Frank Sinatra song. Well, I got it. I love it. Okay, so guys, we need to change fast. In fact, I think we should change even faster. And that's where the valuable tip of Ernie is that, things are so much fast moving, technology, HR trends, etc. So Ernie has given us a parting gift. Learn, 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 change, 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 and adapt, adapt, adapt. Thank you, Ernie, for the valuable session we have. Let's all give him a warm
The
round of applause.
honor and pleasure are mine, Nelson. You're an
Thank you.
excellent host.
Thank you.
You
And
make me look good.
thank you. And coming from you, that's a high compliment. And I do my best. And we try to also do Leaders Edge proud. Speaking of which, Leaders Edge, thank you very much, audience, for joining us tonight. And with that, we conclude tonight's episode. Join us next time for the season ender. We will have Mitzi Antonio talking about diversity and inclusion in the workplace, hosted by no less than Mike Chua. And remember, learning is a never-ending journey with limitless vistas. Good evening.